Whoa. I put myself back to sleep, and then I slept until my alarm again, which was crazy. I never do that. Not very often, at least. I'm feeling pretty good, actually. I did 4 workouts this week, which is more than I've done in a little while. We're gonna stretch wherever you want to be on your floor today. You can bring a pillow or blanket if you would like to. I'm gonna work on some external rotation on this hip. I feel like it needs it, and by that I mean I'm working on kind of opening up through my hips. I feel like I have something that's holding them really, really tight on this side in particular. So here I'm sitting with my leg extended. This one is bent in, and then I'm kind of rolling over, using my hand to stabilize behind me. I'm pressing down on that knee to find that external rotation, and then just letting this hip be heavy to pull me toward the floor. Finding the edge of that discomfort in my leg, hip area, and then hanging there. I've been thinking a lot about, I don't know if people are following along with exactly what I'm doing here as I'm doing stretching, or they're doing their own thing, but I've been thinking a lot about it. And essentially, like, what I want this space to be is 20 minutes where you're invited to just get on the floor and be in your body, see how it feels, connect with it for the day. So that's what I'm doing. I'm connecting with my body for the day for 20 minutes. Oh, it feels good. I've had some exciting things going on, with new ideas and things that I've been working on kind of in the background of my life, I guess. I'm not ready to share everything that I'm doing just yet, but I'm getting there. I'm doing things one thing at a time, just as they come up, doing what I can, and we'll see where it goes. This is already feeling better in that hip. It feels really good. You could do this if you had like weight. I'm using my hand on my knee in order to do it, but if you had some sort of weight and you're trying to increase your external rotation that way, you could put the weight onto your leg and allow it to push down. That feels good. Okay, I'm going to switch over to the other side. See how this one's feeling on this side. Oh yeah, I got lots of rotation on this one. Or at least I think I do. And I'm talking about the rotation, so like external rotation here. So if your hips are in line, right, that's your kind of neutral position if you were just standing or sitting with your legs extended. And so here, the external rotation means that I'm taking that bone, that hip bone, and I'm rotating it away from my midline of my body. So the knee is externally rotated or laterally rotated from the midline. And then I'm working in that positioning to stretch all the little muscles, hanging out there for as long as I can. This one's actually tighter than I thought, and tight not in the hip area, not in the same way as the other side, but I'm actually tight like here in my like low back and over the top of my pelvic bone there. So I'm working on, as I'm sitting here, I'm putting that downward pressure on my knee to still find that rotation the same way that I was on the other side, but I'm working on kind of leaning and giving myself more of a stretch through my side here to try and relax those muscles. sometimes when I'm doing my stretching, I think about, or as a teacher, I think about, gosh, this is kind of repetitive. We're doing sometimes the same posture, sometimes we do similar postures, and I feel weird about it because I'm like, oh, I should always be changing it up or doing something different, or being new and inventive and creative, and honestly, repeating the same things over and over and over again is where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. I'm going to adjust my positioning here. So going into that same external rotation, I'm going to take my knees out wide. This time in a frog pose is what I'm working on. So child's pose, we have the toes tucked in. In frog, we're going to let the feet come behind. I'll turn so you can see a little bit here. So rather than tucking my feet in, as I would in child's pose and then pressing my hips back, I'm taking my knees out wider and letting the feet come behind. And then I'm going to probably come down to my elbows. I might stay up high actually. Coming down to my elbows is too much, so I'm going to put my palms underneath my shoulders to give my upper body that support. And then I'm going to kind of rock just gently in a little tiny area where I feel that tension in my hips. Let's see if I can get it to relax at all. But as I was saying, the repetition of postures, of stretches, is where you're going to get the most work. It's like going to the gym and lifting weights, right? If I go to the gym and I do a bicep curl 1 week, and then I don't do a bicep curl again for 8 weeks, I'm probably not going to go up in weight. I probably won't have improved my form a whole lot in that bicep curl. Nothing will have changed in that area. But if I go to the gym and I do a bicep curl on Monday, and I go to the gym and I do a bicep curl on Wednesday, and then the following week I do the same, and the following week I do the same, probably by that 6-8 week mark where I would have repeated from the first time, where I only did it that time, I will probably see a marked improvement over that 8-week period in the amount of weight that I can lift, in the strength that I have in that position, in kind of the stability of it, because my body's gotten used to moving in that way. So same thing goes with stretching. If I want to see improvements in the way that my body's moving, I have to repeat the same type of stretches over and over and over again. All right, I'm gonna walk my knees back in. We've had enough right there. Ooh, I need some cat-cow in my life, I think. So palms are gonna come underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. I'm pressing into all 4 corners of my palms, and then elbow armpits wrapped toward the front, pressing my shoulders down and away from my ears. Finding that engagement, pressing my tops of my feet down into the mat. I should feel my pelvic floor engaged. I feel nice and stable here. And then I'm going to inhale, take the tailbone up, opening through the hips. Belly comes down, chest opens, and the front of the neck opens as that chin comes up. I'm going to hang here in my cow posture for a moment. Probably for a little while, actually. It feels really good to be here. You kind of feel some shifting side to side through my hips. Feel the engagement in my low belly, a nice big stretch through there. Because we're not just collapsing in the posture, we're finding the muscles, seeing how they move, how they hold, which ones can relax. All right, I'm taking a deep breath in, and then I'm tucking that tailbone, engaging through my low belly to press my lower back up, and then rounding through my mid back between my shoulder blades. I'm gonna walk my palms. I realized that I was a little bit forward there, but walking my palms underneath my shoulders a little more, and then opening through that back side as my chin comes down. This is a big arch. I feel it over the tops of my collarbones a lot here. My traps, that triangular muscle at our neck to the top of our shoulders. That muscle engages a lot for me here. Hold for just a couple of seconds more. And then inhale, taking the tailbone up. Belly comes down. Chest opens. Exhale, rounding through, starting at that tailbone. Moving every bone of the spine. One of the things that I've done this week, I reached out, I haven't heard back yet, but I reached out to a mobile mammogram bus through a local hospital. And I would like to see if they will come out to the gym space that I work out of and see if they'll come out and do a little event with us where we get to learn, where we get to do mammograms, where women can have their mammogram done. Most often I've read that it's covered by insurance, which is great. If not, then maybe I can get some donations so that everyone can come and join in without a cost to them. And then I want to do some sort of like educational experience a little bit where we talk about self-checks and that kind of stuff that you can do between mammograms, and just bringing awareness to breast cancer. So if you have any ideas, thoughts, people that I could get in contact with, anything like that, I would love that information. My diagnosis date was on February 18th. I looked that up this week. And so it might be too short of notice, I'm not sure. But maybe it's all ideas for next year, or maybe we do it around that time and not on the exact day, something like that. But it's something that I would really like to do. So it feels really good. My shoulders are getting tired here, so we're going to move out of this posture. My hands, my wrists are actually getting a little bit tired too. So I would like some stretch the other direction. I've been sitting here with my palms like this for a little bit. So I'm going to take, there's a couple ways you can do it. If you want to come out of the posture, you can reach your arm forward and then let your hand kind of dangle. And then I like to put my thumb like in the back of my palm at that wrist joint, and then just gently push down. It's going to stretch over the top of the wrist here. So if that feels good for you, you're welcome to do that there. Another option would be to come down and then to put the top of your hand down and then work to straighten your arm against the floor. There's not any weight on this joint here. It's just using the floor as kind of an anchor point. And doing the same thing to connect, or excuse me, to stretch through the back side of that hand. I have all these ideas like bumbling around in the inside of my head of like how I can help people the most in everything that I do, because I feel like I'm in a unique position. I'm going to go ahead and switch to the other hand. I'm in a unique position of being in athletics, in fitness, in nutrition, all of that. So I feel like I have the capability and the education to help people, but also having gone through the cancer experience, that experience to speak to. And what I'm going through right now with rebuilding my fitness after chemotherapy and pushing through the fear that I'm experiencing mentally every single day of hurting myself or making something worse or creating fatigue. I don't feel like there's a lot of information out there about what to do during this time frame, and everybody seems to go not back to normal. I don't mean everybody. I mean like the people around me feel like we're carrying on with life. which is what we should do. But I'm in this position of being nervous every day. That feels really good on that side. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take my hand out. Ooh. I'm gonna do some wrist circles next. That felt really good, but I feel like my wrists need some rotation, so I'm rotating outward right at the moment. And then, after about 10 or so, I'll switch and go the other direction. But yeah, I want to honor where my body is, continue to push forward, and then be able to teach people how to do that and work with the community of cancer survivors and people who are continuing on with their life. Because it feels like with cancer, or at least what my experience was, is that that it feels like cancer plucked me out of my normal life for the last year. And then now that my treatment is more of a manageable schedule, I am back in pieces of my life, and I don't know. I feel it's like I'm here and I'm doing stuff, but yeah, I don't know where it goes from here. So I'm gonna do one more. So with the knees out wide, I can still feel lots of pinching on this side, so I'm not pushing deep into the posture. And I'm working on engaging the muscles, so rather than just letting my knees flop and then pulling myself forward, I feel like that's detrimental. I'm engaging through my body, through my hips, like my glutes, not squeezing them, but just turning them on a little bit, and then pushing the knees down instead of letting them flop down. I'm using my hands as leverage so that my body feels like it has something to push against, if that makes sense. I think I have some glute weakness on that side, my glute med, that I need to do some more specific work with. And so this week in my plan for my own personal training stuff, I'm going to do some banded work, also some heavy weight holds is what I'm going to do, which is where I'm trying to get to the tendon, because I feel like that's kind of where my body's frustration is right now. It needs some heavy weight holding under like colder muscles, not super warmed up, but just, yeah, that's where I'm going. So I'm putting that in my plan. We'll see how it goes this week. Even that, just getting my glute firing on that side, that hip is feeling better already. And then I'm going to pull myself forward a bit here, since I've worked through that discomfort. Oh, yeah, that feels good. I think that's all I'm going to do for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.